Hi everyone, welcome back to a new week. So I have some updates on the less fun side of being a Fulbrighter, so on the bureaucracy side. My first update is that the tax office is more of a hassle than I thought it was going to be. So as you probably remember, back in the first week of November, like November 7th, I handed in my paperwork for my taxes to be returned to me from my housing stipend because they take 25% of whatever you get from the government, and then you just have to hand in paperwork to get it back. So I handed in all my paperwork November 7th. They said it was fine when I handed it in, and I left. I contacted them at this point 2 weeks ago, and I was like, just want to see if there's an update. I haven't heard anything. Do you need anything from me? And they responded with, we don't have a record of you handing in anything. And I immediately started to panic, and I was like, well, I handed in person. I have copies of all the documents if you need me to resend them. So I ended up resending them, and then I didn't hear anything from them for over a week. And so yesterday, I was talking with the other Fulbrighter who's here right now, and he gave me a direct contact to somebody in the financial office from our embassy contact, and I was able to get in touch with this new person at the financial office here in Slovenia, and they did tell me that my paperwork was being processed, so it's not missing anymore, miraculously. But now the issue is that they want me to provide them with the receipt of payment for all of my rent before they'll reimburse my 25% that they withheld, because they need proof that I'm spending all of the money. And so essentially what that means is that I would have to pay for all of my future months of rent now, so that I can provide them with an invoice for those months so that they'll reimburse me. The issue is I don't have enough money to be able to do that. I only have enough money right now to be able to afford the next 3 to 4 months of rent. So I'm not too sure what to do about that. I'm going to be emailing them again tomorrow. I've been emailing them in Slovenian. So I had a coworker of mine look over a translation that I prepared to email back to the financial office. So hopefully I can get them to understand that I don't actually have the money to be able to pay for all of my rent, which is kind of why I need the money that they withheld back, because the money that they withheld is almost 2 months of my rent. So kind of need it back. So yeah, that's my first update. My second update is also related to financial issues. So I'm having issues with my NLB card right now, and everything else but NLB is going great. I don't have any complaints about them really. The only thing that I don't love is that every time I have a direct transfer in or out of the account, they take 33 cents as a commission, but it's whatever. It's a very normal thing, I think, for European banks, so can't really complain too much. But right now, my issue with the bank card is that's my way of paying my rent, because that's where all of my housing stipend money is, and Housing Anywhere doesn't do direct bank transfers. So I have to use a credit card or a debit card, and currently my debit card is blocked because there were issues with the PIN and activating the card. So I am currently now waiting to hopefully get a new PIN in the next week, because I leave for Austria next week, and if I don't have the PIN by then, I can't pay my rent because I don't have the ability to activate the card without the PIN. So I had another panic moment yesterday / this morning about not being able to afford my rent and get my rent in on time. And luckily my landlady is very understanding and has given me some alternate routes of payment that I can do. And she's aware of the situation and is very understanding and helpful. So I'm glad that I have her kind of like on my side, you know, just not adding to the stress that I'm getting from all sides for finances. So yeah, those are my updates already for this week. Nothing super fun has happened yet. I am doing some things this weekend. I'm gonna go to the ice cream parade again. Maybe I can find it this time. I don't know that I'll do anything Saturday though, so the ice cream parade is Sunday. So yeah. Oh, I do actually have something fun going on this week. Friday, I am going to visit the Proteus lab. So I got an invitation from a former Fulbrighter to go and check out her lab. So I'll be there Friday morning and then have the ice cream parade on Saturday. And then my parents will be here next Tuesday. So things are looking up, but at the moment, the finances are a struggle, and it's not something that I was really prepared for as an aspect of my Fulbright. So I figured I would just share a little bit of the not so fun part of being a Fulbrighter with you guys, so you get a little bit of an understanding of Fulbright as a whole. So I will see you guys Friday. Hi everyone, welcome back. It is Friday, and I'm currently about 15 minutes into my hour walk to the lab that I'm visiting today, and it brought me through Tivoli Park. So get a little bit of a scenic walk, and then on my way to the lab later, I will walk along the riverbank. So pretty nice views today. Not too bad of weather. At least it's not raining. So yeah, very excited to see the Proteus and possibly some axolotls, because I heard that in the past they had some. Yeah. So I will see you guys later. Guys, I think I just walked past the U.S. ambassador's house, because that's an American flag, and there's the White House crest up at the top. I'm like really far outside of the city right now, so it very well could be the ambassador's house. There's also a good amount of security, so probably is, because I don't imagine many other people having an American flag and the White House seal on their house. So it's definitely an adventurous walk this morning. Hi everyone, so I am now heading to the lab. I just finished my meeting, which was super fun. So I did actually get to see some axolotls today. They have 3 axolotls. So I met with a professor in the zoology department in the Faculty of Biology. She works a lot with conservation and restoration of the Proteus. So a lot of her research has to do with techniques and methods of preserving Proteus in the wild. So I got to see a couple of the ones that they've recovered from the caves, and I actually got to see, sorry, I just had a coffee, so I'm a little stuffed at the moment. Anyways, so I got to see a black Proteus, which are very rare. They actually have fully developed, oh geez. I decided to take the scenic route, and now I'm walking through a lot of mud. This is probably not the greatest idea, but oh well, I'm on the path now. It's fine. So the black Proteus, it has eyes. They're just kind of very underdeveloped eyes. similar to the axolotl, I think. And they have pigmentation, obviously, because normally the Proteus is white. So it just lacks some pigmentation. And this one's gills were bright pink, which I thought was super cute because I remember when my axolotl baby had pink gills, and he was the most adorable little axolotl I'd ever seen. So I got to see them, and then I went and saw the axolotls. So they had 2 wild type, I believe, and an albino. And then I saw some Spanish newts. So they look almost exactly like an axolotl. The only difference is they didn't have gills, and their heads were a little bit strangely shaped compared to an axolotl. But they're still kind of cute. And some zebrafish, because a lot of studies of regeneration and developmental biology are going on right now in the lab. So zebrafish are a really good model to use for studying developmental biology, because when they are in the embryo is see-through. So you can monitor a zebrafish its entire life and see its development over time, which is really good for researchers. I know one of my former professors used zebrafish to study fetal alcohol syndrome, because you can directly monitor them while they are in their embryo, and you can actually genetically modify them because their genomes are fully sequenced, so that they express fluorescent proteins while they're developing, and you can see their biology. So lots of cool things. And then I met a student who is from Serbia, and she is doing her PhD right now in the lab and is studying how to make a cell culture line from Proteus, which I think is super interesting, because one of the uses of the axolotl as an animal model is using its cell line. So what that means is you harvest cells from a live animal and you culture them, which means you can preserve them and use them later in time. So it's a very useful technique. And for endangered species, it's less invasive, because if you can work with the cultured cells, you don't need to constantly have a living animal, right? So some interesting work going on there, and they invited me back anytime I want. And I found out that, the world of regenerative salamanders is a very small world, because they knew of Dr. Randall Voss, who is going to hopefully be my PI when I return to Kentucky. He's one of the main reasons that I decided to go to Kentucky, because he's very well known in the axolotl research community. So they thought it was amazing that I'm getting to work with him, and the student from Serbia actually wants to apply for a Fulbright and go to work at the University of Kentucky. So I was talking to her about my experience, and we exchanged contact information. So maybe next year, when I am living in Kentucky, she'll come to do a Fulbright. Yeah, I think that was pretty much it. Now I'm gonna do my hour-long walk to the lab, because I have a bunch of analysis to do. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I'd just like to add, my knees are getting in such a workout today, because I've been climbing hills left and right to get to and from the biology department, which also, fun fact, I think this is kind of interesting. The University of Ljubljana is very spread out. Like, the faculty of biology is not even close to faculty of medicine, like, at all. Also, another fun fact, I don't know if you guys can see that,
Those are beehives. The only reason I know that is because in Pennsylvania, we see beehives all the time because people are constantly trying to do beekeeping to produce honey to sell it, like, market and stuff. Anyways, that's cool. So I'm just hiking all of the hills today. I'm back in Tivoli Park because apparently the original route that I was going to take to get from Department of Biology to Medical Faculty, Google Maps decided to reroute me to travel exactly the same way that I came, which means I have to go back uphill. So I'm very out of breath. But I've also recently been in a classical music kick. So when I'm not listening to my Crime Junkie podcast, which I love, I'm up to the 2021 podcasts. So I've been spamming them. Anyways, so when I'm not listening to my podcast, I've recently been listening to dark classical music, so minor pieces. I prefer listening to minor, and I prefer playing minor pieces, actually, because some of you might know I was a pianist for like 14 years. I haven't played since this summer when I learned how to play Daylight by David Kushner, which was fun. Actually, I did a little bit of an arrangement, pulling a bunch of different compositions together. Anyways, so while I am hiking all over creation today, at least I get some fun music to listen to. I've been listening to Phantom of the Opera's theme song, Romeo and Juliet, a couple of Bach Requiem pieces, some Mozart, some Strauss, expanding my listening preferences. And Spotify has what's called like the day list. So if any of you have Spotify, you know that it creates like these different playlists for you based off of like the time of day and the week that you're listening. Like from week to week, it analyzes like what you normally listen to from this time to this time, and it creates this playlist for you. Well, today's playlist was dark classical music, so I am listening to Romeo and Juliet right now on my way to the lab, and then I will sit and do all of my analysis, and hopefully I get results good for my experimentals, because I want to finish up this round of experiments next week before I go on vacation, so that way when I get back in the new year, oh good lord, I can start in the second part, because I have about 3 weeks from the 1st of January to the 30th when I'm making a presentation. So I'd like to have the second part of my experiments done, or at least some results to show for it for that presentation. So just thought I would share.
Hi everyone. So updates for the week. Number one, I am sick. I actually got sent home today by my mentor because we were going through my analysis, and she looked at me and she goes, "Are you sick?" And I open up my mouth to start talking, and she hears me and she goes, "Yeah, you're sick." And I was like, yeah, like I started losing my voice on Saturday, but like I've been taking medicine, thought I would be fine. I mean, I've shown up to take exams with 104-degree fevers, and I've also competed in swim meets with 104-degree fevers, so it's like, this is nothing. But she sent me home, so she's like, you need to go home. She gave me a mask to wear and was like, go home, get some rest. She gave me a recommendation for some vitamin C medicine that they have over here, which is basically vitamin C and zinc combined. And told me that if I need to take tomorrow to just let her know, and she'd carry out the parts of my experiment that I was supposed to do tomorrow. So that's fun. And then on the news of the financial front, so I emailed the tax office back today after I received an update from them saying that they have received my paperwork. They asked some clarifying questions, which I answered for them, so we'll see what they say. And for my debit card, I requested my new PIN last week, got it yesterday, tried it, and it didn't work. So I got on the phone with them again, and I actually got the same person that I had gotten last week, and he remembered me. And when I explained, like, you know, the new PIN that he had me order and pay €11 for didn't work, he was like, that's strange, I can't figure out why that's not working. So they're sending me a brand new debit card with a brand new PIN free of charge. I'm hoping that this one works, but it won't come until I'm in Austria, so I won't even be able to try it until I get back from Austria. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so as of now, my plans for the rest of today are to rest. I finally was able to sleep the whole night through last night, so I might take a nap because I got to work this morning. And when I'm walking to work and stuff like that, when I'm active, I'm fine. I feel awake and alert, but then as soon as I got to work, I was like completely drained. So, and my mentor was like, I can tell by your eyes, like, you're not okay. And I was like, thanks. So might just take a nap. I've been spamming honey and tea like crazy because it feels really good for my throat. And I love honey, so probably make myself a bunch more of those. And then I did bring over medication from the United States with me when I first came over, so I have a bunch of medicine that I've been taking, and I'll continue to take it. But I was trying to avoid getting sick because my parents are leaving the United States today so that they can come spend the holidays with me, and they didn't want me to be sick and then get them sick for Christmas. So I was like, okay, I'll do my best. And then of course I get sick like immediately following that. But it turns out I'm not the only person who's sick right now in my family. Apparently my sister got food poisoning. So they're curious to see how a 10-hour plane ride is going to go with somebody who's got food poisoning. So TBD on that front, but I will see them tomorrow. So I'm very excited. Can't wait. And yeah, I'm looking forward to spending some more time with them and exploring parts of Europe that I haven't been to yet. So should be a fun end of my week as long as I can recover from whatever I have right now. So just wanted to give you all an update, and I will see you in the next part of this video.